Happy Sunday everyone and welcome back. I hope your coffee's strong and your breakfast hits the spot. Now, it's been just a few days since I've stopped counting calories, something I genuinely wasn't sure I'd be able to do after tracking every single meal, every single snack, pretty much every day for well over a year. And this week has been all about finding out whether I've actually learned the habit or whether I've just been relying on an app to keep me on track. And something happened this week that I genuinely wasn't expecting. And after everything that's been going on, I've finally reached a milestone that means the absolute world to me. But you're going to have to wait just a few minutes to find out what that is. So today I'm going to give you an update on the calorie tracking experiment. We're going to see what the scales have done this week. We'll also have your pet peeve of the week. And as always, we'll finish with the questions that you've sent in. But before we get into that, if you're new here, I'm Midlife and I've lost 81 pounds now using Mounjaro, injecting 10 milligrams into my belly every single week. This channel is all about sharing my experiences as a non-medical professional. So first of all today, the calorie tracking experiment. Now if you missed Wednesday's video, I'll pop it up here because I explain exactly why I've decided to do this, but the short version is this. After tracking every meal, every snack and every calorie for pretty much well over a year, I've reached a point where I need to ask one simple question. Have I actually learned the habit, or have I just become dependent on tracking calories on an app on my phone? And that's what this experiment is about. It's not because I think calorie tracking doesn't work. Quite the opposite. I honestly believe it's one of the biggest reasons I've managed to lose the weight I have. It taught me portion sizes, it taught me accountability, and it taught me what I was really eating, and I don't regret a single day of tracking. But if I can't trust myself after all this time, when will I be able to trust myself? Now, it's only been a few days, so I'm definitely not going to draw any conclusions just yet. But what I will say is it's felt really, really strange. There have been several occasions this week where I've instinctively grabbed for my phone to log a meal before catching myself thinking, hang on a minute, I don't do that anymore. It's amazing how quickly something becomes part of your daily routine. But I'm guessing that's because I've been doing it such a long time. So the experiment continues, and I think the scales this morning would tell us a little bit more about whether I'm heading in the right direction. So shall we see what the scales had to say this morning? So the Hume scales did say 16 stone and 13 pounds. That is a loss of £1 this week, but more important than any of that, it means I'm finally into the 16 stone bracket. So that is a total of £82 loss from a start weight of £319 to where I am now at £237. Now, I know that is only £1, and I know I'm probably going to bounce around these numbers over the next few weeks as I continue with this no tracking experiment, because that's exactly how weight loss works. But psychologically, this one feels quite significant for me, because I cannot, and I hand on my heart, I cannot remember the last time my weight started with a 16. It blows my mind. I was probably 6 or maybe 7 years old. I am joking, of course, but I cannot remember when my weight started with a 16. When I started this journey, I was 22 stone, 11 pounds, £319 that is. And if you told me back then, just over 12 months ago, that one day I'd be standing here disappointed with only losing £1 whilst weighing in the 16s, I would have been in absolute disbelief. It would have seemed a million miles away. So today I'm allowing myself to enjoy this milestone, not because the journey's finished, because it isn't, because I've still got work to do. I've still got another £13 until I reach my goal weight. But moments like this are worth recognising because they're a reminder of just how far this journey has already taken me. And what makes it a little bit more interesting is as the first week of not tracking calories, and I'm still managing to move in the right direction. And now I'm definitely not saying that this is proof that the experiment is working. It is literally just one way in, and one way in doesn't tell the whole story. But I'm happily going to take that result, and we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. Right, really quickly before we move on to Pet Peeve of the Week and the questions you have sent in, I just quickly wanted to touch on why this video was a little bit late. There's no drama, absolutely nothing to worry about. But I wasn't feeling great. I think I got too much sun, basically. I was in a field in the middle of nowhere all day. The sun was absolutely baking down on me. I got home from work. Thought, right, I need to make this video for Saturday, the Saturday check-in video. And I just didn't feel great. My eyes were all over the place. They were quite blurry and I felt a little bit sick. So I feel like it was just a little bit of heat stroke. Had a few days to sort of recover from that, get hydrated and all the rest of the things. And I am feeling right as rain now. So there's absolutely nothing to worry about. And I do apologise. I hate missing the deadlines for these videos. I'll post every Wednesday and I post every Saturday. And I like it like that. So it does throw me a little bit when there is a delay in proceedings. So once again, I do apologise, but I am right as rain now. Right, so now we're going to move on to the part of the video which I actually really enjoy making, because there's always something there that's going to make me think, challenges me, challenges my opinion even, raises a point that I hadn't even considered, or there's a completely random question. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Chris. Now, I haven't had many questions sent in this week, but if you do have a question for the Saturday check-in videos, just pop it down below, mark it Q&A, and there's a very good chance that you're going to feature on one of the future Saturday videos. So let's jump straight into the first one. So the first one today is from Charlie ZG3WK. I'm finding as my journey goes on, my losses have slowed and even plateaued at times. For me personally, upping my dose isn't an option because of the cost and the side effects. I also feel as though my 6.25 dose is working really well. Mentally, how do you feel with this being a slow process? I'm at a point now where my losses are very noticeable, but it's sometimes difficult not to be able to see those huge losses anymore. How have you dealt with this? It's really, really tough, isn't it? And if you watch some of my videos from a few months ago, I was sat here on a Saturday and it was getting on top of me. I was stall, it was plateau. It just wasn't working for me anymore. And mentally, it's really tough. We're all spending a lot of money on this medication. And if you feel like you're not getting the value out of that medication, it really does test your patience. So I 100% get where you're coming from. The way I got around it was two things. One, you're in it for the long game. I wasn't always aware of that because when I started it, I never expected to be taking this medication for as long as I am, or as long as I did even. So you need to relax into it and think, this isn't a quick fix. This is a long game. The second part is you need to check in with yourself. And when I say check in with yourself, I mean, are you doing everything that you should be doing? Are you doing all the stuff that's going to help this Mounjaro, this weight loss medication, work to the best of its ability? And that is making sure you're prioritising your protein, making sure you're prioritising your hydration, making sure you're taking in the fibre. And obviously, up until recently, for me, it was about tracking calories. It's so easy on this journey to self-sabotage without even realising you're self-sabotaging. You can feel like you're doing every single thing right, take a step back, have a proper look at it, and you think, should I have eaten those biscuits? Should I have had that bit of cake? It's that kind of stuff. So that's the two things I'd be looking at. But it's a slow process. Let it do its thing. And as we know, I'm sat at 82 pounds lighter. It does work. So the second question today is from mjohn99. I just went up to 5 milligrams 3 weeks ago and it has completely killed my hunger cues. I expected this to happen for the first week or two after increasing the dose. However, 3 weeks in and I'm still not hungry. Has anyone else come across this with a dose increase? How did things end up going for you? I'm having to set reminders in my phone to eat. Totally relate to that one because I was in a very similar position when I went up to 3.75 milligrams from the 2.5 starter dose. And that's where the protein work shakes came in for me because they were an opportunity for me to take in calories and what I would call easy calories. And it was another reason why in the earlier days it is so important to track the calories, or it was for me. And it wasn't about making sure I didn't overeat, it was making sure I actually ate enough calories so that I wasn't basically making myself ill. The other thing I'd be looking at is it worth going back down a dose? Speak to your prescriber, speak to your pharmacist, speak to your GP, explain the situation. There's no harm in going back down a dose if you need to. If you're feeling like the 5 milligram is possibly killing your hunger cues a little bit too much, go back down, try a 3.75. All those things are going to sort of guide you down the right path, hopefully. So the final question today is from Soha Ibamamon 2541. I've had to reduce my dose from 7.5 to 4 milligrams as my weight loss was too rapid, according to my endo. 25 kilograms in 6 months. I have lost muscle, but I'm too tired to strength train. Currently on multivitamin IVs and I've put 2 kilograms back. I'm too scared to be big again. What can I do better for energy so I can train? Right, firstly, you've done incredibly well. So well done in that respect. And I completely understand the fear of regaining. I think a lot of us have it. It's part and parcel of us trying to lose weight, and then the worry and the anxiety of not putting that weight back on can weigh pretty heavy. From my own experience, and bear in mind I am not a medical professional, and I did explain this to you in the comment on the video, I'd be speaking to my endocrinologist about the fatigue rather than trying to push for it, because that to me sounds absolutely wrong. Once you know why your energy is so low, you can make a plan together with your medical professionals. But more importantly, don't beat yourself up over 2 kilograms. I'd much rather gain a little bit of weight whilst trying to find a sustainable long-term approach than really end up rather unwell. But yeah, speak to your medical professional, speak to your pharmacist, do all the things you know you probably should be doing. But most of all, I'm wishing you all the best. So now we're on to this week's pet peeve of the week. If you've got a pet peeve, leave it down below in the comments. I'll add it to the list and it will more than likely be read out as pet peeve of the week at some point in the future. This week it's from Lies or Rust 4760. Pet peeve: I'm down from 17 stone 2 pounds to 11 stone 10 pound. Now everyone's telling me, okay, no more. I get it. I'm tall, I'm not petite, my target weight is 11 stone 7 pounds. I'm almost there. And I know they mean well, but I actually agree with them. It just irks me to hear it. That, when I read that one, originally when it was sent in, I wasn't expecting the ending to be that you agreed with them. But I feel like this is a pet peeve that we all experience, with people telling us how we should feel, how we look, how we weigh, how we sort of see our own body image as part of this weight loss journey. And I get it a lot. In fact, just last week, my partner said to me, she said, you don't need to lose any more weight. And she rubbed my belly. I said, well, yeah, I know I'm nearly where I want to be. You don't need to lose any more words. It's the biggest pet peeve ever. We've tried so hard. We've been big, we've been chubby, we've done all these things, and now we're working really hard at ourselves to get where we want to be. And it's not about where you want me to be or where you want me to be or what you think I look like. It's got to be something that keeps me happy. And I'm guessing it's exactly the same with you, albeit you actually agree with the comments. So that shows great self-awareness. You're happy with where your go weight is. You're nearly at your go weight. It just peeves you, doesn't it? Because people trying to make decisions for you and that aren't really their decisions to make. Whilst I'm talking about my partner, I just want to give her channel a shout out. It's nothing to do with weight loss. It's nothing to do with midlife health or wellness or any of those things. It's about places that she goes. She makes videos. She tells you a little bit about the history of the places, ghosts and stories about these various places that she visits. I'm going to pop a channel on the screen and it's called Something Stayed Here. But if you could take 2 minutes of your time just to go and check out her channel, that would be absolutely amazing. And I'd be forever grateful. Right, so that is Pet Peeve of the Week. Absolute cracker as always. And I really appreciate you all spending the time to send in these questions and these pet peeves and obviously commenting on the videos. As always, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your weekend with me. I really do appreciate it. I know time is precious for every single one of us. If you missed last Wednesday's video where I explained exactly why I've stopped counting calories after more than a year of tracking every single day pretty much, I'm going to leave that on the screen now. And if you'd rather let YouTube decide, there's another video waiting that the algorithm really thinks you're going to enjoy. If you could like this video, that would be amazing. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. Take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday.